Hello YouTube! Today we will be doing Lomo. Again, it's the regional name. It's a Spanish word for dried pork loin, which is exactly the same popular item in northern Italy. And really it's very familiar to capicola, it's just a different cut. It's a pork loin. It's drier. And again, that's what I'm trying to avoid a little bit. Some of the people trying to cut out only the lean part of the loin. I will be leaving an end, which again has a dry part on this side, but it has some fatty muscles on the other side. We still need to cut something off. We need to cut off excessive fat and silver skin if we have it. So let's cut it off and let's make it. What will be the next steps for it? Really very simple. We will be using curing salt because this will be a dried product. We will be using salt. Again, I'm using around 3-4%, depends what you like it. You could even lower it down, but again, salt pushes water out and makes the product firmer and stays longer. So we will be cleaning it up. Salt, Instacure, 3-4 days, 5 days to get through. After that, everything is very simple. We will be drying it out exactly the same way as capicola. Putting in a spice bath, that means, I will be rolling in the spices. Then I will be actually putting that probably in the cloth. Then I don't need to tie up with the rope because I have the net in the net, hanging it, waiting it till it will dry. That process could take about 4 to 6 weeks. Depending on the thickness, it could be 8. And then we will be enjoying it. So let's continue. You don't need to leave any hanging parts. The piece should be as convenient as possible. You see, I found some chunk. I'm taking it off. And that's what we will be putting in salt. Again, you can keep it in a fridge in a Tupperware. You can use Ziploc, whatever you like it. So let me make mixture depending on the weight. 3% salt. Instacure depending on that. So all mixes here. Let's just layer it. Now we will be flipping the product every day just to get evenly with salt. If you would like to add some additional spices at this moment, you're welcome. But usually that is done before the drying because the spices will stay longer with the meat. And that's it, the very first step done. I'll see you probably in a couple of days when we will need to continue to put that with the spices and hang it. After that, there is always possibility to do a cold smoke to add a smoky flavor to it. So we'll see what will happen. Thank you, that was really smoking. Okay, so let's continue our dried pork loin adventure. Meat was in salt for 4-5 days. I will be washing a little bit. I will be putting some spices on a tray, rolling it up, putting in a cloth, then putting in a meat netting, and just hanging somewhere in a basement for 6 to 8 weeks. Depending, again, you can watch the weight. Suggested weight loss is 40%. I have a capicola video where I specifically showed how you can put the target weight on the meat and then just follow it. Through the time you will learn what the hardness of the meat by touching you would like to have. And this way you will have perfect, a little bit drier or less drier meats depending on your preference. So let's get started. The next step, I will be laying layers of spices, what I would like for my meats, and just rolling meat in. If you want more spicy, you can use more red crushed pepper, which you will see here. And if you want less spicy, you can not use it at all. And then just roll it. Now if you want, you can cover spices on top of the meat. You can fully cover it. Later you can remove excessive spices, especially pepper. The next step is just to roll it into cloth. Some people ask me why I need a cloth. First of all, this is protection against the effects of the nature. Flies. How often you can get flies in your basement? Now, if you're keeping that in a refrigerator, some of the people keep that in refrigerator, probably would not have such effects of the nature as I call it. But I prefer meat to hang in a basement just because I need a refrigerator. Now, very handy tool. I like it, I use it a lot. You can just push it through and then lightly shake it. Usually I hang the bigger part up. This way all the humidity goes down and the thinner part dries a little bit faster. So we have two ends. Now let's take twine. And here it is. That's what we have. And you remember I was mentioning about softness or hardness of a touch? This is what we have. Now, if you will have some mold, it does happen because depending on the humidity in your basement, it could happen even in the refrigerator depending on the settings of refrigerator. Watch out. Black mold, no good. White mold is okay. Green mold is suspicious. Black mold is not good. So watch out for that. But otherwise, let's hang it. And I will see you probably in a couple months. That's it. Okay, it's unwrapped. Looks perfect, looks very nice. Now, most important is to understand when it's done. That's up to you. You could still dry it up to it will be very, very hard. I do like when it's pressed a little bit. That means the middle part is a little bit softer. Again, it's a preference of the family. Some people like very hard, like a close to jerky style, when you need to bite the bite. I do prefer when it's a little bit softer. So now, let's cut it. Let's see how it looks. And you remember, because we did it with a little bit of the fats, I believe it's perfect. It already releases the smell, and of course I do know how it tastes. It's not the first time. I'm not doing things for the camera. I'm doing things for myself. Camera is just add-on for the products. So that tasting part is really just for me to enjoy it and for you to be jealous about it. But that makes life a little bit better. It's perfect. It's just the meat. Again, you remember I didn't do any additional crazy spices. It's something for the sandwiches. It's something for the snacks. It's something for the family. Enjoy. This was really smoking.